Boom. All right, what's up, you guys? It's Royce Jacob. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to a special weekend edition of Crypto Convo. The holiday season is officially upon us. This past Thanksgiving week was a volatile one, not only for the crypto markets, but for the equity markets as well. Had a few little macro curveballs thrown in there, which we will discuss, of course. But a lot going on right now. Of course, I want to keep you guys posted with my thoughts on the markets. As you can tell, I am still up at the family house up in LA. We'll be flying home tomorrow morning, so it's going to feel good to be back in the lab. And I also want to let you guys know that over the next couple of months, I will be back and forth between Hawaii and LA quite a bit. And I just want to let you guys know that the next time you see me in this environment, it'll be a lot more wavy. No birdhouses, but hopefully some nice waves paraphernalia in here. All right. So anyway, that said, let's get into it. You guys, keep it short and sweet today for both you and me. As always, we'll quickly go over a few of the names we'll be taking a look at on TradingView, talking technicals, talking price targets, and then we'll dive on in. All right. So kicking it off. Of course, you guys know the deal with the channel right now. You guys know the trend. We got to kick it off with our favorite metaverse names: Decentraland, Mana, Sandbox, or Sand. We'll take a look at those two. Not looking at an engine today, but Mana, Sand, the Bitcoin and Ether of the metaverse. Got to let you guys know what I'm seeing here over the course of the weekend and as we close out the month of November, not only for Mana and Sand, but for all of the names we're talking about today. After Mana and Sand, I do want to talk about Render Token, or rndr. So Render, if you guys watched the video I posted this past Monday, I believe, the solo analysis on Render, if you guys have not watched that, definitely go check that out. Render, at this point in time, considering it has a market cap of just like $1.2 billion, even after the 16% move up it's seeing at the moment, at the time of recording, it did see quite the correction over the past couple of days, along with the rest of the market. But Render bouncing big time, again, up almost 17% at the moment. And from a fundamental perspective, Render Token, the Render project, is not only maybe the single most appealing and potentially lucrative play within the crypto markets, but in the entire tech space. And if it's one of the biggest projects, I believe, in the tech space, it means it's one of the biggest projects, potential utility projects and like use case projects in the entire world right now, at least in my opinion, and the opinion of many others as well. So Render, super fundamentally bullish. The chart looks great as well. We'll obviously take a look at that as we dive into it. And then after the three hype plays, the more hype plays, more kind of groundbreaking plays, we'll close it out with the two OGs, Bitcoin and Ethereum. Close it out, with the king and queen, I guess. Bitcoin, Ethereum, it's been a while since we've touched on those two because we've been so focused on, plays like these. But I want to let you guys know what I'm thinking about Bitcoin and Ethereum, because ultimately those will, the price action of those two will have some semblance of an impact on the price action of the entirety of the crypto market, okay? And again, even if Ether is going down, we have seen in the past, like when Ether falls, because Ether is the base trading pair and conversion pair for so many of these cryptos, particularly, the three that we're talking about definitely trade on the ERC20 blockchain. If capital is flowing out of Ethereum, a lot of times if Ether is going down, if investors see more potential in plays like Mana, Sand, Render, that's actually good news. So Ether going down can be good news for these altcoins, okay, because it's a direct conversion pair. All right, so just throwing that out right now. Before we dive into the charts, I want to read over the intro to the newsletter that I sent out yesterday on Black Friday, just to give you guys some of my thoughts. The markets were bloody. We got the COVID-19 mutation news, which definitely threw a curveball at the markets once again. There's a lot of a lot of fear in there. You could smell the fear in the air. But again, if you guys stay rational and you know how to rationally deal with the fear in the environment, if you can stay rational in an environment full of fear and panic, that is one of the biggest advantages you guys can have as an investor, as a long-term trader, especially in these hyper-growth sectors of the market, all right? So let's read through this and then we'll dive on in. It's Black Friday and we're closing out Thanksgiving week with a bang, as in impact from an asteroid bang. The WHO announced that they found a mutated variant of the COVID in South Africa yesterday evening, and I can't say I'm surprised by the price action we're seeing across the financial markets today. Futures and crypto started their descent last night. Again, saw the futures markets down, crypto slowly starting that fall. Usually a good precursor to the fact that the equity markets are probably going to see some pain, which they did. So it's not like it was a difficult read. There's an article. We can actually take a look at that. You guys have seen enough. I don't even want to cover that. I think this is I think this news will pass because I'm very optimistic. That said, I feel another easy read is the fact that the price action we're seeing today is purely panic. Short trading day, again, markets closed early yesterday, which will cause for increased volatility, just a more compressed time period during the week. We had Thanksgiving off, 4 days. We had a half day on Wednesday, so it's 3.5 trading days as opposed to 5. Maybe you see the same price action. It's just compressed into a smaller window, so you will see more volatility by nature, okay? Anyone who has a general idea, so this is just my thoughts on kind of this news, on the shock news, all right? Anyone who has a general idea about how viruses and all forms of life in general adapt and evolve shouldn't be surprised by this shock news. Delta came and it went. The severity of this mutation is still unknown, but as an optimist, I believe in the competence of my own species over that of this mutation. We've done it before, and I trust we'll do it again, only now in a more timely fashion because we've had a much better idea of what we're dealing with. We have a much better idea. Viruses adapt, but humans are the ultimate adaptation machines. Although humans are great at adapting, we're also emotional. Hence the markets yesterday. Let the paper panic. Paper hands, keep those hands strong, guys. If rationale sets back in as soon as I believe it will, then we should be back in action by the end of next week. Stay cool in hot waters. It pays off, literally. Again, if you can keep a rational head, if you can keep a cool head in a hot market, in a market where things are bouncing around, you're seeing a lot of volatility, you're seeing panic. Again, investors, you guys have to keep in mind, and if you're one of these, it's perfectly fine, but so much of capital that is flowing through the markets right now is new capital. Okay, if you haven't been in the game for a few years, it's a lot more difficult to you. But like anything else, the less amount of time you've been doing something, I mean, the more emotional you're going to be, and the less you're going to understand how to deal with these volatile, kind of unexpected situations. And it surprised me. Again, the Delta news came, went. It's just surprising to me how visceral the reaction to this news was, considering we just got news like this. Delta wasn't too long ago. And it came, it went. You haven't heard the word Delta for a while now. And again, the specificity of the details of this virus, of this specific mutation, are still kind of unknown. So I don't want to talk down on it. I don't want to downplay it in the case that it is real. But just based off previous trends, based off the fact that history usually tends to rhyme, I think this will pass fairly quickly. At least that's just my opinion. Okay, so that said, that's kind of all we'll talk about that news. But of course, you guys, if you do want one of these bad boys in your email inbox every trading day, along with a complete breakdown of my entire personal portfolio, you want to know what I'm trading, why I'm trading it, when I'm buying, when I'm selling, and why, that's going to be the first link down below. $15 a month, $40 for every 3 months. Holiday season, you guys know the drill, is historically strong for the Waves fam. Hyper growth sectors of the markets do tend to thrive during holiday seasons, and with this metaverse trend in play, I think this is going to be I think this will continue to be a very lucrative one for the team. So again, if you want to know what I'm trading, why I'm trading it, along with those email newsletters talking about why I'm trading, and just my thoughts on the markets that trading day, that's going to be the first link down below. It means a lot if you guys check that out, but if not, no worries at all. Also, call to action right here, you guys. Please, we are so close to hitting 50K. Not so close, but we're getting pretty damn close. 47.4K subscribers. It would mean a lot if you guys could subscribe. Help us get to that 50K. Check off that box and slowly but surely start to work our way to 100. Maybe one day we'll see that silver play button up here one of these days. But anyway, you guys, subscribe, like the video, give me a comment down below. Let me know what you guys are thinking about any of the names we're talking about today. All of that means a lot. And yeah, that's it. Let's get into this, okay? So, Mana, at this point in time, looking pretty textbook. I know you guys, we opened up the video, we introed the video on this chart, and just looking at this a lot of you guys know just how bullish this chart looks from multiple perspectives, okay? So from the overall trend perspective, we'll kind of start a little more macro and then zoom in, all right? So overall trend perspective, we're obviously seeing this two-wave play out. Two-wave, first wave, parabolic move up. We saw as we closed out the month of October, that Halloween rally, right after we made that first video about it, Mana went from from like 85 cents, $1 to $5 in the span of a couple of days. Crazy price action. Since then, classic hype rally bubble pops. You see the sell-off, you see the capitulation, that sideways price action, strong floor, boom, bull flag, break out of that bull flag, initiation of the second wave, and right now we're just in the process of setting one of the most textbook series of higher highs and higher lows that I've ever seen. So high, low, higher low, just sit in that higher high a couple of days ago. Now, in the wake of the greater market sell-off, of course, Mana and Sand are seeing corrections as well. Mana bouncing back nicely. It did fall back into this previous ascending channel after breaking out of it to reach its all-time high of $5.90 once again a few days ago prior to this correction. But right now we're seeing, I mean, this is so textbook, you guys. When it comes to the short term, following this correction, perfectly came down here, setting a little bit of a bull flag, this descending triangle right here, but more importantly, setting this double bottom perfectly on this previous ceiling that is now acting as a new floor. So again, perfectly bouncing off of the previous short-term high, using that previous high as a new low, while also setting a higher low on the overall uptrend. So, I mean, from a technical perspective, 4-hour Stokes also curling up. The volume, although it doesn't look very impressive here, the volume still, I'm moving my fat head. I mean, 40 million volume. On an 86 average volume is still insane volume for I mean, Mana has just been holding it down with the volume. As we look at Sandbox, so remember these numbers, 38.86. Sandbox is seeing very impressive volume right now because there's so much hype around it with the Adidas news and stuff. But I mean, Mana still holding volume, still holding strong, still does have some catch up to play in my honest opinion in terms to Sandbox. Okay, or I mean, regarding Sandbox, I guess. Anyway. Everything's looking good here. I do think that once we break through this, probably maybe by the time you guys watch this, if we break back out of this ascending channel, the previous resistance, I guess new resistance, current resistance on this ascending channel, if we break through that, pretty much see another 4-hour candle to the upside. And I do think that's likely once again because the 4-hour Stokes are in the process of curling up. Very clean curl up as well. I think we're just going to go on to set a new, another high, which also means another all-time high. So let me know if by the time you guys are watching this, Mana hopefully breaks $6, hopefully breaks that $6 mark, reaches a new ATH, and yeah, I'm looking forward to what the rest of this week has to offer for these metaverse plays and for all, I mean, render as well. BTC ETH do look a little sus, and again, we'll get into those after these two. Sandbox. So Sandbox looking pretty clean as well. Kind of setting a bull flag. You can see, again, bull flag, parabolic move up right here. Flagpole followed by the descending triangle, creating the flag itself. Sandbox, I do think personally, although it has so much fundamental bullish momentum behind it, the fundamental tailwinds are on Sandbox's side for sure, propelling it upward. From a technical perspective, this downtrend looks a little stronger. I do personally think that Sandbox, again, you guys, this is the game of catch up. This plays in every sector of the market, every hypergrowth sector. When you have two big names, when you have the two top names kind of fighting against each other and consuming capital from one another, when one rallies, when one leaps ahead of the other. In Sandbox's case, Sandbox took a massive leap, again, followed by those great fundamentals, so it's justified. But as it begins to correct, people will be like, okay, Sandbox is ripping. I just made the load of profits off Sandbox. I want to convert some sand to Mana because Mana has been underperforming. That's just the psychology of why this happens, okay? It doesn't just happen. It happens for psychological reasons. People taking profits from a massive winner and putting those profits into something that they feel does have more potential upside because the one they're taking profits from just saw so much upside, okay? That's just, again, the psyche 101 of kind of why that leapfrog game happens, why that game of catch-up happens. So anyway, Sandbox, I do think Sandbox has more short-term downside ahead of it. I do think that at the very least, Sandbox will come to about 555, 560 to base back out. We'll just go 575 just to do just very unconservatively or just to stay. I mean, it could go a little lower, like 550, 560, but we'll say 575 to retest this high right here. I don't think we'll come all the way down here. That doesn't make sense to me. But I do think that Sandbox will come out, use this previous ceiling right here prior to breaking out of it and seeing that nice parabolic rally. Use the ceiling around $5.70, $5.75, and probably start making its way up. Now, could we just start making our way back up? We're kind of basing out here. Again, kind of finding this line of support here, this level of support, which is the real indicator of a bull flag pattern of kind of a short-term two-wave. So again, bubble pops a little bit, you see the capitulation. That strong base of support is the greatest indicator in terms of whether we're going up or down, okay? So you see Sandbox kind of basing out. We're still setting a series of lower highs and lower lows, on the very short term, just over the past couple of days. So maybe we see more downside. 4-hour Stokes here are also curling up, but again, you guys, I think it's more likely than not that Sand short term sees about 570, but I do think that after we retest this little this previous ceiling right here on the shorter term uptrend, I think it's back off to the races. Volume is looking amazing currently. Sandbox, I mean, similar volume to Mana right now, 33 million volume, average volume of 52, so still less than Mana. Obviously, it looks a lot more impressive when you're actually looking at the volume chart, but I mean, I still think Mana in the short term has more upside potential. Okay, long term, again, Sandbox, a lot of good things going for Sandbox, a lot of good things going for Decentraland as well. But the short term, I do personally prefer Mana over Sand, just so you guys know that. Let's move on to price target right here. I do think if this previous line of support coincides with my initial upside price target for Sandbox, I mean, just kind of, again, same thing for Mana, just mirroring the percentage gain on the first wave on this initial rally from the base of the second wave or second rally. That would take us up to about $10.50 for Mana. I think it's like $11.50. Okay, so those price targets as we move as we close out the month of November, move into December, do still stand. Maybe by hopefully by early or by mid, we'll just say mid-September, hopefully these double digits are achieved. Okay, so that's Mana Sand, good old metaverse plays. Let's hit render. I mean, first off, the volume here is insane, and the fact that we're seeing 58 mil in volume on render for a crypto, for a token that so many people like. But the main comment I've been seeing is, where do I buy render? Where do I buy render? And personally, I just want you guys to know that I convert my render through wallet apps. So again, render, Mana, Sand, trade on the ERC20 platform, and a lot of wallet apps that you use. If you have Ethereum, you can just directly convert it. It does take fees. There is a fee. There is a gas fee, obviously. But I mean, in the case of render, where you see this thing ripping up 17% and Sand is down 7%. If, I mean, 24 hours ago you converted some of your Sand to render, that'd be a very lucrative trade. Okay, so that's how I personally do it. There are, I believe you can buy it on their site and stuff, but go do your own research, you guys. I personally converted though, just to address those. I mean, this volume is insane for, once again, the fact that you can't just buy this on Coinbase. Seeing 58, almost 60 mil in volume on this. Again, before even it being available on a lot of major exchanges is absolutely insane. Like, the fact that this is seeing more volume than Mana is staggering, if I'm being honest. And render, once again, currently only has, I think it's a rank like 200 still. Might be higher now because it's outperforming the rest of the market today. But render is still ranked like 200, probably high 100s, 200 on coin market cap of 1.2 bill. Which is absolutely insane for the fact that this could be the next AWS or Amazon Web Services. Like, again, you guys, the void that this fills in the marketplace is absolutely insane, and the upside is pretty unlimited if you guys understand kind of the, I mean, if you guys understand the sphere and the potential of what a GPU rendering is, then this could, I mean, the sky's pretty much the limit. I'll close that out with that. But technically, pretty much, I mean, technically it looks like everything else that we're looking at when it comes to these short-term hyper growth markets, these hype cycles. I mean, first wave right here, super organic too. It wasn't like a parabolic move up. This is just a very organic rally. So finally, we saw this bubble somewhat pop on this rally for the first real time, or for the first time in a somewhat significant way at about 870, just about a week ago. And right now, it's just looking like the second wave is initiating. We saw the short-term correction, came all the way down here, didn't quite revisit this high over here, but I mean, we didn't spend much time below this ceiling right here, this previous high over here. So I do think that we're in breakout mode right now, short-term breakout mode. I'll consider this a bull flag. Again, parabolic move up, descending triangle, finding the strong base. Once again, that's the important thing, finding the strong area of support right here. You can see how many 4-hour candles bounced off this area. So it's no surprise that we have seen a breakout. I'll consider this a breakout of the bull flag. And if we do use, boom, right here. Oh, oops, sorry. You guys, I don't have my mouse, kind of irritating using the trackpad on this on my laptop. But anyway, previous support right here, support. Confirmed as new resistance. Previous support becomes new resistance. TA 101. If we retest this where the cursor falls December 2nd, if we see a nice short-term rally up to new highs, that could take us to about $12.30 December 1st, which just looking at this chart does not seem unlikely at all. Okay, that looks actually pretty organic when you're looking at this. Okay, and again, if you guys want to know how I'll choose to trade this, how I'll choose to what I may convert render to once my price targets are hit. Same for Mana and Sand. Again, that is going to be the first link down below. Keep you guys posted on here, but again, I will be traveling, so it's just more guaranteed that I will write the newsletter every day because that is my obligation to you. Anyway, let's close it out with the two OGs, Bitcoin, Ether. Keep these quick because we've actually been kind of ranting for this video. But anyway, it's a fun weekend. Let's chill Sunday or Saturday, actually. Bitcoin. I mean, Bitcoin does not look good. You guys been saying this in the newsletter for a while. Bitcoin just super textbook series of lower highs and lower lows. Volume on BTC. I mean, volume on BTC is actually pretty good compared to the past month or so. We're seeing a lot of spikes, but I mean, volume's all right, but the trend in general is not very good. Lower highs, lower lows, technically from a psychological perspective. Again, when people are seeing plays like Mana, Sand ripping, Render ripping, it's not like you want your capital, at least our sphere, at least our kind of, you guys know we're objectively a little more on the risky side, a little more degen, but again, a lot of that's the reality of the crypto markets right now. That's the reality of the investor landscape within these crypto markets. People want fast money, and that's just human nature. I don't blame them. You got to be careful. You got to stay on your toes. You got to know when things are slowing down. But right now, that is not the case. And right now, again, going into the holiday season, there is more risk appetite. That's just historical. That is just historical data. That's not an opinion. That is historically true. So, BTC ETH. Short term, not looking good. Lower highs, lower lows. Again, from an investor sentiment perspective, there is just more hype, more excitement around the metaverse and some of these plays like Render. And I do still feel bearish from both fundamentally and technically for Bitcoin and Ether, honestly. Definitely more bullish on Ether and alts, as I just mentioned. Bitcoin, do I think this is going to crash? No. Do I think we'll fall further, like slowly go down into the right? Probably. But over the long term, obviously still bullish on Bitcoin. It is still digital gold, and that will stand for the rest of time. Anyway, Ether, let's close it out with good old ETH. So ETH, again, also in a series of lower highs and lower lows. The bright side here is that we are in kind of this bullish pennant formation. That's this lower orange line right here creating the base of this pennant, or just kind of symmetrical triangle, whatever you want to call it, is a very, very long-term just trend line in general, both support and resistance over the duration of 2021 for Ether. So this is creating a base. We do have a strong base here. We also have the base of this previous high over here. So this high as well, we'll go like right here. So short term, we do have a solid floor for Ether. This trend line is a very strong long-term trend line. This purple line right here, obviously just previous high on the more medium-term rally for ETH. So we do have a solid foundation around here, just around 4,000, 4K. Also, obviously a very solid psychological even. So it's obviously possible, given the fact that once again, capital can very well flow from, and I do think it's likely that capital will flow from ETH into other ERC20 based tokens. But I mean, we do have a solid base. That's the upside. The other upside, just very optimistic, is that we come up to test this previous line of support, broken, dumped it down at the middle of this month, about a week and a half ago. So strong support here. If we retest this previous support, new resistance, that would take us mid-December, December 17th, to about 58.50 per ETH. So is that possible? Yes. Is it possible we come down further? Absolutely. I don't think it's likely that we come down below, in terms of downside price targets. I don't think it's likely we come much. I could see us coming down to 32. Honestly, that wouldn't surprise me if the macro continues to be a little sketch, which is, again, very possible. I'm just weighing the odds in my own mind here by being an optimist. But is it possible we come down to about 3,200? Absolutely. And I would be surprised. And I'd honestly be kind of pumped if we came back down to 3,200 and say Ether falls to 3,200, our metaverse plays continue to rip. If that happens, I'll probably be converting some of my mana and stuff into Ether, okay? And that's just, again, just trying to optimize those profits and optimize those trends, all right? Anyway, downside price target, 3,200. Optimistic upside price target, as we move into Christmas, 5,800, 6,000. But of course, you guys, you got to take this day by day. The markets move quick. So once again, subscribe, help us get to 50K. And yeah, I will see you guys back in the lab in a couple of days. All right. Hope you had a great weekend. Take it easy. Good times ahead. And cheers, you guys. Till next time, always remember, take action. Make waves. Peace, guys.